Very interesting start. I think we might get to test out some hand signals here. All right, let's see how it handles the flag person. Not great. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're out here in Virginia Beach. This is about an hour from where I live. I wanted to come out here and shoot a couple of videos because I'm not overly familiar with the area, and I always like using FSD somewhere that I'm not too familiar with. So I figured we'd do a quick random destinations video. We're just gonna select 2 random places to go and see how the car does. So I'm not gonna use the lucky feature because I've been pretty unlucky with that, where it keeps picking all these boring routes for me. So I'm just gonna drop a random pin on the map and we'll get the drive started. Now we are gonna be starting from park because I wanna point out an issue that I'm still having. We're at the beginning of drives, and a lot of places, if I'm not in like a perfect parking spot, I get this message saying that there's an object and path detected and the car just doesn't want to move. So let's see how it does here. So at first it's deciding to try to go forward, and you can see it's like, there's that message, object and path detected. Now it is selecting reverse now, and it starts backing out, but then it stops. And we've got that message again. Now it's put itself in forward again. And it's just kind of sitting here twisting the wheel. Let me know if y'all are having the same issue at starts of drives. Now I don't have this problem if I'm in a normal parking lot or like in just like a parallel parking spot or something like that. But anytime I start from a weird spot like this, I get that message, and a lot of the time I gotta like bump the pedal and make it move. And so like you can see here, it just keeps wanting to go forward and back. So what I'm gonna do is back us up a little bit and try to start it again. Let's see what it does this time. So I'm getting that message already, and it's still trying to go forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and back us out of this one. That was a little bit of a fail. Definitely something Tesla's gonna have to work on. So what I'll do this time, I'm gonna start us, we've got a clear route ahead of us. I've got a little bit of pine straw right in front of the car though. Let's try to start it from park and see if we still have the same issue. All right, so it starts moving, now it's slowing down. It's super hesitant, but we did get going that time. So we do already have an intervention, even a disengagement. I'll have to go back and look at the footage and see how all of that went. Might have a couple of them from that point. And you might disagree with me that that's not an intervention or a disengagement because we weren't even driving yet. But hey, if we want robotaxi or if we want unsupervised FSD, it's got to be able to do stuff like that. And there was nothing hard about that situation. Now the thing is, this is like the first or second version of 13. We're on 13.2.2. This is like the first version that went wide to pretty much the whole entire Hardware 4 fleet. And it's also the first version, or version 13 is the first version that has the ability to start from park and go in reverse. I hate GoPros. They fail all the time on me. At least my Hero 9 does. My Hero 13's been doing pretty good. But like I was saying, you should expect some issues with a new feature like that on the very first version to go wide. I don't think that's going to be a hard thing for them to fix. So hopefully as the new versions come out or future updates come out, the reversing and the starting from park feature will get a little bit better. So we're starting off with this like weird speed hump thing in the road. The car is slowing down for it. It felt like it was going to hesitate for a second. Oh, and now we've got these people up here in the road. This ought to be a sufficiently awkward situation if they don't want us to go. Let's see what the car does. Very interesting start. I think we might get to test out some hand signals here. I don't even know what these people are doing. I really hope that the car just waits and does what it should though. I think I can confidently say though, version 12 right now would have tried to have gone. All right, let's see, is it gonna go? Looks like it's not. Had to give it the pedal tap of encouragement there, unfortunately. So we do have another intervention. Now, if I wasn't All right, I am going to tap the pedal again. They're trying to get me to hurry up through here, and the car is just driving slow as can be, being super cautious around the pedestrians. I understand it, but man, that would have been cool if it had just gone on its own. I will say version 13 is pretty cautious around pedestrians. I guess you'd expect that on a new version. I think that they'll probably, in my opinion, it's overly cautious. Now, of course, a self-driving car should be really cautious, but too much so at this point, in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like my thoughts were all over the place just then. Slowing down for the speed hump again. For both of them, there was like this little weird moment of like, should I slow down or should I not? So a little bit different from how I would have done it. It was clear to me that those were speed humps, and I would have slowed down pretty early for them. But either way, the car did eventually slow down for them. But I'm trying to do a better job of explaining exactly when the car does something that is different from how I would do it. Like that one, it did pretty good. I would have slowed down a little bit more, but I saw some posts on X talking about how come every time a new version comes out, everybody's talking about how perfect it is, and then when the next version comes out, they talk about how perfect that one is and how bad the other one was. And I think some of that kind of comes from I think like people who post videos, and this includes me, I'm bad about this, a lot of the time we're like talking relative to the previous version instead of talking about how good it does versus how a human would drive. Now I do think we talk about both, but I think too often we're saying, oh my gosh, that's so perfect, just because it's doing it way better than the previous version would. But that doesn't mean that it is as good as a human would be. So I'm going to try to draw better comparisons to explain those things when the car does weird stuff. So we do have a few interventions so far. You can see version 13 is definitely not perfect. I'm never trying to convince anybody that it is. I'll always tell you when it does weird things. And a lot of that comes from the fact that like back when I got FSD originally, I was super disappointed in it. Now this was like all the way back on version 11.3.5 back in April of 2023. I think I was only disappointed because I'd watched so many people from like California and Florida where it just seemed to perform way better. They were all having like all these flawless drives. Everything looked really good. And I think a lot of them didn't talk about when it was doing weird things that are hard to see on camera. But so like I'm on the east coast of Virginia. My experience was not the same as those people. I could hardly make it across my 3-mile town without having disengagements and interventions. It was just constantly making mistakes. And so like kind of to my point earlier, if we're comparing how it is now versus back then, yeah, it does almost feel perfect now, but as you can see, it still makes mistakes. In fact, I was filming a little bit earlier, and I had one of my first safety critical disengagements in probably about 200 miles. The car decided to turn down this weird alleyway, and at the last second, like had this moment of hesitation and hit the brakes, but the back of our car was still sticking out into the road, and there was actually a golf cart coming up behind us. And like they weren't gonna, I don't think that they were super close to hitting us or anything, but one way or another, if there had been somebody coming up behind us, it just shouldn't have done that. And really, in my opinion, it just shouldn't have even turned down that alleyway. Like, I don't even know why it didn't just go up to the next big road and turn right. Some of that might be map data, but one way or another, you can make the argument that, oh, it did that because of map data, but if we want robotaxi and the car to not have anybody in it or to be unsupervised, it can't do stuff like that. It's got to be able to override map data when it sees a bad decision coming up, or it's got to be able to make critical decisions like whether or not it's better to collide with a static object in front of the car, or whether or not it's better to get rear-ended by somebody and involve somebody else in the accident. And I think that the decision there is probably pretty obvious, unless it involves you like driving off a cliff or something like that that's going to get you killed. Yeah, of course, then maybe it might be better to get rear-ended and involve somebody else, but I think y'all get what I'm saying. So we're about 0.1 miles from our first destination. We'll pick another one after that and see how it does, and then we'll call it a video. Interesting, I was getting ready to criticize it staying over to the far right side of the lane, but then I realized that the left side is meant to turn left, so it was actually making room in case somebody came up behind us wanting to turn left. And I like that because it wasn't just copying what that blue car in front of us was doing. So it's, you know, like version 12 would do a lot of impressive things, but it would also kind of just follow the lead of whatever the car in front of us was doing in a lot of situations. Version 13 is starting to make decisions on its own more often, and that's pretty cool to see. So I am going to go ahead and take over here. Seems like every time I set a random pin like this, it always is at somebody's driveway, and they're always outside when I do it. It's just so awkward. So we won't get to see if it was going to park itself there. Let's go ahead and put the car in park, pick one more destination, and then we'll call it a video. Let's see if we can find somewhere cool on the water. We'll get over here. Let's take this route. It looks a little bit more interesting. All right, 1.4 miles, 5 minutes. So here we go again with that object and path detected. As y'all can see, when I pulled up here, there is nothing in our way. And once again, I think this will be an easy issue to resolve, but I'm gonna go ahead and tap the pedal and get us moving. It still doesn't want to move. Like, I don't know. Y'all let me know down in the comments section. Does it look like there's something in our way? Tap the pedal again. Now it's finally moving. For the most part, well, it's a little bit slightly different issue. So late versions of version 12 had an issue where, like, if you were in a parking spot or something like that and tried to engage, it just wouldn't move. If you're in like a normal parking situation, usually I don't have the issue that we just had. You know, I don't know, maybe that was a normal parking situation. I don't know. But the issues definitely improved. Version 12, late versions anyway, it would like, I'd always have to tap the pedal to get it going. So, issue not quite 100% resolved, but definitely better. I don't think it should have had any hesitation back there though. That was like wide open, especially not after my first pedal press. So we will definitely, as we get more updates, we'll keep track of that problem. Now, there's also something that we just passed. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not. If so, I'll flash a picture of it up on the screen. There was like a manhole cover, maybe like a small water access. I don't know what the heck it is, but one way or another, there were some sharp edges of it pointing up into the road. The car did not make any noticeable effort to avoid it. Now, I could tell that we weren't going to hit it, but it was really close. And if I was driving, I definitely would have gone around it. I would have made an intentional effort to go around it. Now, we're choosing not to turn right at this light, and I'm not 100% sure why. I don't know if it's because of there's a person at the corner of the road to our left, and then we've got this person in front of us. I don't see any signs saying that we can't turn right on red. I don't know. It waited on the green light. I mean, I don't think that was necessarily bad. I certainly would have gone, but I don't know. Maybe I would have been breaking the law. About 4 minutes to the end of the drive. Want to say thanks to everybody who's been subscribing, watching, commenting on the videos. We're almost at 550 subscribers. We might already be there by now. Definitely enjoy all the conversation down in the comments section. I try to reply to everyone. So a lot of these videos too are just ideas that people have put down in the comments section. So go drop an idea down there and I'll do my best to film it. I also want to know what other people are thinking of version 13. As you can see, it is really good, but it still has some issues. I want to see if anybody else is having issues that maybe I'm not having, or are y'all having like flawless starts when you start from park? Definitely interested in hearing about how it's doing for everybody else. Also, make sure you don't forget about referral links. You can go to eastcoasttesla.com to go to mine. If you can pick up a car by the end of 2024, by December 31st, which this video might even come out after that. So if you can pick up a car by then, it'll get you up to $2,000 off. And then at the new year, it's still going to get you some sort of discount. We just don't know exactly what that is yet. But yeah, we're coming up to the end of our drive. Got about 2 minutes left, half a mile. Everything is feeling pretty good. Looks like we are clear to the right. We do need to wait on one car from the left. Got another car coming up from the left. And we're good to go now. Nicely done. It didn't get tripped up by those people that were walking around that corner. I was kind of worried it was going to like slam the brakes or something, thinking that they might want to cross the road, but definitely didn't. It's doing a good job. Ooh, looks like we got some construction through here. This might be interesting. Let me see if my pin is far enough out. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to go through all of it. Let's see how it does. I actually don't see any construction. I just see about 1 billion orange signs. It says 1-lane road ahead. Ooh, I see a flag person up there. Let's see how it handles it. Hopefully it'll do better than the beginning of this drive with those people doing whatever the heck it was they were doing. All right, I did take over there. I was getting ready to run over a street sign that was knocked over, so we do have another disengagement. All right, let's see how it handles the flag person. All right, it is stopping for them, and now it's trying to go, so I'm going to disengage there too. Let's try to re-engage and see if it starts moving. Yeah, I did have to end up intervening there. Disengaged, then intervened. So, not great. Well, anyway, we're at our last destination. Let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments section. Let me know what you think of version 13. Appreciate you watching. See you in the next video.